Howdy y'all, Christi here with Little Salty Homesteader. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to talk to you guys about how I am trying my darndest to be an organized gardener. So I'm going to go over all of the different ways that I try to keep track of seeds and tools and what I'm planting and where I'm planting it and all of those different things. So if you are like me and you are a little bit scatterbrained, maybe you need a little bit of help figuring out how to keep yourself on track and all together, maybe this video is for you. Full disclosure, I try really hard to be organized. It works about 80% of the time. The other 20% is just straight up chaos. And if you have been around my channel for any length of time and you've seen any of my garden tours, you will see that my garden definitely reflects what goes on in the brain space. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first thing that I'm going to talk to you guys about is actually how I store my tools. Now, most of my tools are handheld tools. I only have, a couple of long-handled things that I just store in the garage. But as far as the short-handled tools that are handheld, and I just, my most used stuff that I use throughout the garden, all throughout the season, my fertilizers, labels, things like that, I store in a 5-gallon bucket. And it has a padded seat lid, which isn't going on right now. It has a padded seat lid so that the bucket can also double as a seat for when I'm out working on the garden. So it kind of saves space because I don't have two different things. I have one thing used for multiple purposes. So kind of show you guys my bucket. It's kind of tacky because it has a bunch of stickers on it, but this is kind of how I identify it as mine. So both Lily and Logan also have buckets that double as seats and storage. So we all have our own kind of duct tape situation happening on it. We all have our own stickers happening on it. So we always know which bucket is ours. Lily uses hers for Girl Scouts. Logan uses his for whatever. I don't think he uses it with Boy Scouts. I think he just stores his camping gear in it so that whenever we go camping, he has it, like flashlights and things. But inside mine, I have various hand tools, fertilizer, gloves. I have some zip ties in here. An 8-ounce deli cup that I use for scooping the earthworm castings whenever I'm just, widely broadcasting them. And then I have a couple of other miscellaneous tools. Hori knife, which is my most used tool. I have some garden shears, and then these larger, like, trimming. Thank you. You're directly in my way, buddy. Then I have these larger, like, trimming shears that I use for like the tree or really thick like broccoli stems and stuff like that. So again, this is my seat and it is my tool and fertilizer storage. I don't store the liquid fertilizer in there because that could spill. I also don't store any sort of liquid like orange oil or any other anything else that I might use in terms of pest control, because I don't want those things to mix with my fertilizers, just in case something gets cut or spills or what have you. But other than that, fertilizers and tools and gloves and labels and zip ties and various things that I need throughout the garden, all in this bucket. I bring it out with me whenever I have like a big gardening day, and that way everything is there and I don't have to keep going in and out of the house. And it's worked out really well. This is my second or third season with it, so it's been a pretty good, pretty inexpensive addition to the garden. There, finally got the seat lid back on it. Now in terms of seed storage, once you start gardening and once you figure out how to start things from seeds, then you have a secondary hobby of collecting seeds. So I actually I have tried a few different ways of storing seeds. A lot of people will use those photo organizer things that you get at Michael's, and they have smaller containers inside, and you know, you can kind of sort your seeds that way. I did use those for a couple of years. The problem, you are directly in the way. Thank you. Thank you. The problem with those for me, they were great for a lot of people, and I am not knocking them. The problem with them for me is that I need to see each and every single packet. Otherwise, I forget that I own it, and then I buy a duplicate. So just as an example, before I switched to my current method, I had 3 different packets of serrano peppers because I had like a spicy pepper photo protector thing, but they were all just like stacked in there. And because I couldn't see each individual one without taking them all out, it didn't register in my brain that I had them. So I switched to this method a couple of years ago, and what I currently use is a 3-ring binder, and within it, it has photo sleeve protectors. And then I further sort it because I'm a super nerd like that. So the photo protectors each hold 1 packet on each side. So I have potentially 8 packets within 1 protector, which is great. So I have it divided out into the crop type. So like the one that I just showed you was basil, and then I have that crop type alphabetized. So it's alphabetized and then alphabetized again. So like it's basil and then cucumber and then eggplant, so on and so forth, all the way down the line. It is actually kind of divided between spring and fall crops. So most of this is spring crops. On this one, a lot of tomatoes, still in tomatoes. So all of this is spring crops, and then this is fall crops. So and then those are alphabetized by crop type, and then those types are then alphabetized by specific varieties. A couple of these are further divided up, like the tomatoes I have divided up between like cherry, slicer, paste, oxheart. Dwarf will be a new addition to that part once I get those filed away. And then peppers are divided between sweet and spicy. And you know, leafy greens is divided between lettuce and then other leafy greens. So yeah, this has worked really, really well for me because it's easier for me to just flip to that section and then flip through it than it is to empty out entire photo organizer containers to try to find what I need or see if I need something. My other binder is my flowers, and it is broken up the exact same way. It is divided by flower type. So if you can see there, it says nasturtium, and then they're alphabetized by the varieties of nasturtiums. This has really been a lifesaver, well, a pocketbook saver, because I haven't been buying duplicates nearly as much since I'm able to see each packet individually really quickly and really easily. The only downside to this is whenever it is time for me to plant seeds, especially if I'm going to be direct sowing a whole ton of seeds within one day, is that I have to take the packets out of the protectors and then take them out with me. Whereas with the photo container organizer doodads, you can just take that whole organizer out with you and at least kind of protect it from dirt and moisture. But outside of that, this has worked really well. The other way that I organize my seeds is by when I'm going to plant them. So these have all been pulled out of these binders because I know that I'm going to plant these very soon. And I have them labeled with Post-it notes at the moment. So like after my bush beans come out of my raised beds, I have a series of cowpeas ready to go. So I can just come grab these, go plant them in the garden. And then after I'm done, file them back away. After the garlic, I have all these sunflowers that are gonna go over there in front of the greenhouse. And then after the onions, I have some squash varieties that are going to be planted. I already know these are going to be planted, so I just have like a little divider letting me know when they're going to be planted. Okay, so the last way that I am really trying my darndest to be an organized gardener outside of the mess in the greenhouse is with the use of a garden journal. Now, full disclosure, this is not organized in any way, shape, or manner. It doesn't have like a table of contents. There's no rhyme or reason to what is on each of the pages. It does have all of the pertinent gardening info that I need from season to season though. There are garden journals that you can buy pre-made that have all of that stuff sorted for you, so you could flip to a particular tab and put all of your direct sown stuff, and you can flip to another tab and put all of your fertilizer dates. Those work great for 100% organized people. For 80% organized people like me, this composition notebook has probably been the best thing that I have done in terms of like keeping track of my garden from season to season. Now I use seedtime.us in order to help me figure out my planting dates, but while it does have a journal feature on it, I don't use it a whole ton. I rely on this and then of course my cell phone to take videos and pictures and different things like that, so that I kind of have a photo log to look back on to compare against this. So what is in this is a lot of Post-its. So it has a lot of different stuff. It has notes about stuff that I want to learn about, like cover crops. I have notes written out about cover crops. I have notes written out about the monthly garden tasks. Like every month I do those videos for you guys where I say, okay, for the month of April, these are the tasks that you're going to want to take care of here in North Texas. I have those written down in here. That way I don't have to go look back through all my videos to try to find those. I can just flip to that specific tab. Like, it's written on here, I know it is. Aha! I could just flip to that specific tab, April garden checklist, and then I can make sure that I've done all of those different things. The other stuff that is in here is I have my own personal to-do list for the things that I wanted to take care of in my spring garden this year. Most of it's done. I also have my direct sow log where I'm writing down each seed type that I have sown so far this year, the date that I've sown it, and then where it was sown. So a lot of it went into the raised beds, but like there were some sunflowers that were planted under the arch, and the corn over there in front of the greenhouse, stuff like that. It's all noted in here. The other thing that is written down in here is when I am fertilizing and how I am fertilizing. So I have the date, whether it is liquid or granulated, and then where I fertilized at. So sometimes it's the entire garden, sometimes I'm focusing on just a particular space if I'm troubleshooting like a problem area. All of that's written down so that next season I can look back and go, okay, so last year I kind of had trouble over here, so I need to keep an eye on that this year, see if it needs an extra shot of fertilizer or what have you. I also have my maps included in here. So this one is my tomato patch, and it has all of the different varieties identified with their locations. And then it also has the different beans that are planted, the onions that are planted, the herbs and where they're at. And I have the same thing for the other two raised beds. Now I didn't do that for the flowers, and I probably should have, because I have no idea what most of these are. I know what they are, but I don't know where I planted them. So as they're blooming, it's kind of a surprise. Like I think this one is part of the Aurora line of zinnias. I have no idea because I didn't write it down. That's the 20% chaos part. But here is the okra patch and the sweet peppers. Yeah, so here is the okra and the sweet peppers. Again, it has the different varieties that are planted, where they're planted at. It's kind of like a key code written out. So I wrote like P4 for pepper number 4, and then down here it says pepper number 4 is California Wonder Bell. So Just an example of how that is. And then I also have one that shows how the arch trellis is planted out with the quad underneath. I have, what else did I put in here? I have the transplant log. When I transplanted all my started crops out into the garden, so I started them indoors, transplanted them out, wrote the dates down and where they went, and then I have various other lists, like whenever I started all the seeds for the Boy Scout plant sale, what those were, how many there were, different things like that. There's my March task list, the list of things that I wanted to start and whether or not they actually did get started. Most of these did. And then my 2025 garden goals, that's a big one. There's all kinds of stuff that is in here, but this has really helped me keep track of my garden from year to year. This one's actually almost full. I actually have another one ready to go inside when this one is full. The Post-its help me quickly identify where things are located, sort of, somewhat. Maybe the next time I'll switch to these little tabs right here on the side, but for now the Post-it method is working because I can get a huge pack of those for pretty inexpensively. But like I said, for the 80% organized person, this has been the best thing that I have started incorporating into my gardening lifestyle, because it does help me from season to season understand what's happening in my garden, when it happens, when I can expect to see tomatoes start rolling in, or when I can expect to see pests start to show up. That is something else that's going to be added in here, is the harvest log and then the pest management log. Like if I start to see a ton of hornworms, I'm gonna have to figure out how to address that. Obviously squash bugs are gonna be a problem pretty soon. I'm gonna have to, I will write that in here and what I'm doing to rectify it. If I do anything, I may just remove the plants because it's the easiest way. But yeah, those are basically most of the ways that I attempt really hard to be an organized gardener. For the most part, I do a pretty good job. There are some places I can improve upon, obviously, like making sure I create maps for the flowers as well, and maybe organizing that journal just a little bit better. But other than that, if you guys are a bit of a scatterbrain and you try really hard to be organized, don't hit all the marks, comment down below what has been working for you. Maybe I'll learn something from you guys. But if you guys happen to learn something from me and you want to see more weird and wacky videos, please like, subscribe, and comment. Otherwise, go find a way to get those garden manicures. Bye!